Darkness does not always have to mean evil. It may refer to anything that has not yet been brought to light. It lives in space, beyond boundaries, and in areas where a lot of us do not want to go. You see, Lucy Pierce, the writer, has this line that I love so much. She says that as creatives or mentors, our job is to uncover what lies in the dark, give it new life and a new identity. And you will realize that entrepreneurs and creators are very much alike. They are both obsessed with making something out of nothing, which is more like drawing value out of the dark. So while I was doing my research in preparation for this video, I asked an important friend of mine, someone I look up to, if she had something she would want me to tell young people who may want to grow up to be like her. And she told me, I don't know if they would still want that. I don't know if they would want to know. I don't know if they would really want to know what it is like to be me. And it made me realize that before we call these people successful, before we call them visionaries, before we call them mentors, before they have that kind of success, we have other words for them, such as a nobody, an outsider, socially awkward, different amongst all. I've been friends with this beautiful, talented, educated, and peaceful soul for as long as I've had my breath. But I just recently discovered that she loves to live in solitude. So I became curious. Satisfying my curiosity, I discovered that because of her beauty, and by beauty I mean beauty in its real sense, not the physical, she's solicited by most of the reasonable men in her community. She did not have to seduce anyone. Naturally, she had it all. Because of this, she's not liked by most females her age and those above her age. But as you have it, she had 2 beautiful kids at a tender age, which I call extravagant grace, because of her age and the circumstances which surround the story. Most of the girls in her community of her age and above her age cannot boast of a boyfriend, a fiancé, or a husband, not to talk of a child. But despite what they call her story, her past, or her circumstances, she still manages to be likable to almost every reasonable man in the community. So the girls decided to conspire against her. And what was their weapon? What they called her past. So they decided to tell her story from their point of view. Of course, the negative point of view. And they equally decided to tell most women, married women in the community, that she was seducing their husbands, even the ones she called fathers. In her solitude, she began to write. And that is what has made her a good writer today. God uses the foolishness of man to manifest his will. Had she been with friends, had the girls in her community loved her, no one knows where she would be now. So whatever God gives you, be thankful for it. And so, the story escalated from jealousy to hate, and from hate to evil. And before you knew it, she became the scapegoat. If you ask me, I would say that it is most important for us as creators to start by paying attention to our heroes, the people who inspire us, but to pay special attention to those times and places where our voice no longer wants to sound like that of our heroes or the people who inspire us, but where it starts to insist on doing its own thing. That is the direction we should follow. Take note of the fact that today, many of us reach that point faster than others or earlier than others because of the way difference has backed itself into the world. Strength and vulnerability go hand in hand. What tears us apart can serve as a unique differentiating factor or a factor of awesomeness, but it can also make us a target. Any kid who spends more time in the playground than expected, and even when the rain starts to fall, knows that it is a risky position for anyone to take or to be in. A clergy told me that while he was in the dormitory, he became aware of how differently he thought from other boys, and he was afraid he was insane. He was afraid others may find out about him and they may start to treat him differently. And who knows, if he had found himself in other environments or other schools, they may have treated him differently. And that brings us to why we're here today. We're here today because I want to educate the violated, vulnerable and struggling youth on the idea of a scapegoat. The word scapegoat emanates from an old ritual wherein villagers would gather at a square and they would choose a goat upon which ceremonies were performed. Ceremonies wherein villagers loaded the goats with all of their sins, after which the goat was being chased away into the wilderness. And that was understood because the goat carried away all the sins of the villagers. And all the people were absolved of their sins without having to actually change their ways or even look too closely at it. But if this ritual were to work, the goat had to disappear into the horizon and never come back. It was going to an unknown place, a place where it is expected never to return. And so, this ritual was clearly not only a cleansing ritual, it was equally a bonding ritual. Because part of saying that this is us is another way of pointing at another person, saying that you are not one of us. All of these had a way of segueing into, oh, by the way, it is all your fault. We have spent parts of, if not most of our lives, trying to amputate those parts or those people we take not to be part of us or one of us. We equally spend so much time trying to please other people, trying to meet up to their demands of us, such that we suck at it. A famous creative false phrase says that there is a vitality, a life force, an energy, or a quickening that translates you into action. And because there is only one of you in all of life, it is unique. This means that it will not exist in any medium if you block it, and the world will not have it. And you must take note of the fact that it is not your business to determine if it is good or valuable or how it compares to any other expression. It is unique. Your job is to keep it yours clearly and directly and to keep the business open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your works. All you have to do is stay aware of the urges that motivate you and to keep the business open. And part of keeping the business open is to show up day after day in a room of your own or a corner of your own where you can pursue your obsessions. Joseph Campbell, the academic methodologist, refers to this as a bliss station, and he recommends that everyone has one. I believe that it is at your bliss station that you discover who you are as a creative, and you can get on it and stay on the road mastery. Because it is when you get really good at whatever it is that you do that the meaning you create for yourself resonates into the inner lives of others. The best stories are the ones that resurface from the dark. Keep the business open. Thank you.
I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time. Everybody gets the own day where God go bless thee. And so when my day breaks, I beg no jealous me. I get my day, you too get your day. I get my time, oh, you too get your time.